Lindenwood head coach Jed Stugart. The team came from behind, down 17-0, beat Eastern Illinois 28-25 behind a big performance from Jeff Caldwell. Back in action in conference play. They're going to host Tennessee State on Saturday. So, Coach, let's just start with some general thoughts on your team, then we'll go to some questions.
Well, just a great come from behind win. I think we've established, through our first 5 games, I think there's no doubt we have a group of kids that don't quit. I think they are resilient. They care, that you don't really see them get too much panic mode. So I think anytime you got a little bit of a group like that, you always have a chance, but you start to worry. You go down 17 points at half, you realize a lot of things have to happen to, defense has to really step up, offense has to get going. And, we just, I think, and that's what I'm mostly proud of. It's tough to, you kind of debate, traveling, all these thoughts go through your head on the road. We traveled the day of the game. You start second guessing yourself after the second touchdown. I'm walking the sideline wondering if I chose to do all this right. And, so you got all these things going in your head because you're trying to get some energy, and we just didn't start off with energy. And, and we were a little flat. And so, but I was really proud at halftime. Just, we just kind of said, hey, let's start 0-0 and let's start a new game. I kind of told them right before we ran the locker room, I said, hey, if they can score 17 and a half, we can score 18 and a half. And so, we ended that drive, or we ended the end of the first half on a great offensive drive. We take it all the way down the field. We get to the 1-yard line. We actually get in the end zone, but Tez's helmet pops off. The refs end up saying the helmet came off before he crossed the goal line, so they have to blow the play dead. So I just reminded the offense that, hey, to us, that was a touchdown. We got in the end zone, and you can't control a helmet coming off for that call, and so don't get discouraged. We moved the ball, and so so that approach in the second half was just. But Jeff Caldwell got a lot. Obviously, playing had an amazing game. And he'll be the first to pass on a lot of credit to obviously Nate, our quarterback. Our run game is our offensive line has been playing very well. We ran the ball really well, which opened up a lot of the pass game, and Jeff will be the first to tell you that. But really, I got to say, the key to that win was our defense. Giving up 17 points in the first half, and then their great adjustments at halftime by our defensive coaches, and gave some new looks in that second half that I think really had a big effect. But you think about, we came out start of the second half with a great return to midfield. We throw an interception on that drive, so we don't start the way we wanted to, but then our defense holds, makes them punt. Then we did go down and score, and then another big stand, on a 4th and 1. Our defense held down in our territory right around the 15-yard line. If they get that first down or even a field goal, or if they score a touchdown, that kind of steals a little bit more of our thunder. And our defense held on that 4th down stop, and then we were able to go down and score again. And that's when the momentum shifted, I think, to where we felt like we could build upon that. And then the way the defense held there at the end, and they did have a shot at the field goal at the end, but we put the defense in a bad spot on the last drive of the game with a little shank punt that we didn't get down the field. We were kicking into about 15-mile-an-hour wind, and so both sides had to deal with that wind going into it. And so we gave them great field position on their final drive to get in field goal range, and we just fortunately we were able to get out of there, sneak out of there, missing overtime just by a missed field goal. So really proud of our resilience.
Thanks, Coach. We got some questions. Dan from Prairie State Pigskin. Go ahead, Dan.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Dan.
I just have one question. Is there anything in particular that you saw offensively or defensively that, you mentioned halftime adjustments, that you thought, hey, this is where we could have success in the second half?
Against the Eastern?
Yes.
Yeah, well, first of all, that you always start with their quarterback's really good. the receivers catch balls. Their running back's really good. Their defense is very sound. Chris does an amazing job. They're a really sound program, their defense. And I think, to be honest with you, Dan, I think it was just a matter of confidence. I don't think we were playing, defensively. And, I probably don't share a whole lot of what those adjustments are. But yes, there's adjustments that were made defensively. Our guys do a great job defensively. Our coaches, the guys in the box, writing down a lot of notes, a lot of things that we're not able to get done. And we were seeing, in the run game, we were just, we were misfitting some cutback lanes and things like that. In the end of the day, we just were missing tackles. We had, the first 2 drives of the game, kudos to them because they put together great drives. That running back's running really hard. But man, and to his credit, caused us to miss a lot of tackles, but we were missing a lot of tackles. I think the mental focus of our players, Eric will be the first, our D coordinator will be the first to tell you, Dan, we didn't do that much different in the second half that we did in the first. We had a couple little front adjustments and things that kind of helped in the run game. But at the end of the day, our guys started tackling better. We started swarming to the ball. We were dropping in pass lanes, which we weren't the first half. And so it's going back to just fundamentals, a lot of it. And then offensively, I think it was, obviously getting Jeff involved. But what set that whole thing up is how well we ran the ball. And Tez in the second half, Cortez, our big back, he's 240-pound back. And as the game goes on, and defenses get tired, that guy is a heavy load to tackle, and he wears people down. But I got to, like you said, Jeff will be the first to tell you, the fact that how well we ran the ball in the second half, and we were able to get to second and shorter yardages instead of second and long, because Eastern did a great job of putting us in second and long. We weren't getting very many first down runs. In the second half, we were starting to get to 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, which makes the play call a little bit easier. And it opened up our pass game. And then, sometimes I think Nate did a great job, and Jeff recognizing in some of the defenses that they, I feel bad anybody that's got to cover Jeff Caldwell. It's a tough task. The guy's really good. And we were able to seize on a couple of those coverages where it got him one-on-one, and Nate recognized it, and we were able to take some shots down the field and capitalize on those.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about TSU then. It's only this, you played them last year as the first time the programs had met. And they are coming off they came from behind too and got a late touchdown in their win Saturday.
Yeah, they had a really good win. And I think, the first thing, I just try to get an identity of a team when I start to watch film. I kind of watch both sides and try to be a little bit devil's advocate to our offense, defense staffs, from my perception. And so the first thing that I look at is that, they've got athletes. The quarterback is, each week you go into a different type. It's got to start with the quarterback defensively. Very athletic kid. And they do a lot of stuff. They do a good job of putting some formations up where you've got to account for him pulling a ball and what he can do. And so, that's where it starts. Receivers are fast, good. O-line's big offensive line, they move you. And then defensively, just guys that run around. They're a swarming type defense. I know Joe, some of their coaches I've gotten to know fairly well. Joe Bowden, and does a really good job, defensively. And I think, we got to just be able to play our game, and kind of like, we're starting to see defenses each week, and some of them look a little familiar. We're not, it's sometimes when you go from a different front every week, that can change from an odd front to an even front to even odd front. And, we've seen both now to where we feel like, because most of the time everybody's fairly similar in what they do. And so we should be knowing where we need to go in our blocks and our protections and things like that. But, they do a really good job. Eddie does a great job with that team. And, they're going to be coming in here, and they got after us a little bit last year. Those are things we kind of remind them of, that, we're not in any position to start thinking that we've arrived, and we've reminded our guys of that, to stay humble. And we were blessed to get out of Eastern with the win. And that's each week in this conference, it's going to be a dogfight. And so I think our guys approach that from a sense of humility, of knowing that it's about being 1-0 this week, and kind of burn the past and move on to the next one.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck in your home game this week, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you. Thanks, Dan.